out of my way! You will not keep me from fulfilling my duty!
Howdy, everybody! Finally can do this again, because last week was 4th of July over in the Americas, so we couldn't do this. So let's just get to the point. So this time we have two more new ones who are going to be perfect for today's topic, with one being the protagonist today. Wanted to say hi?
Kaylee the groomer here. Pokemon groomer or actual dog groomer? You pick.
I'd say they both intertwine right now.
Yep.
And I am Terran. Literally just here to pad the numbers because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, someone's got to back up the groomer here. Someone's got to be able to hold them down, if need be.
Excuse me, I'm not that vicious.
I didn't mean you. I didn't mean you, but I wouldn't doubt it. Anyways, yeah, because I know, like, some dog grooming, sometimes they need, like, an extra pair of hands, so to say.
Oh, you're not wrong there.
Yeah.
From what
but
I
this time... Oh.
Go ahead.
But what we were saying... But as I was saying, this time, we're going over some of the Kanto Pokédex and actually seeing how the grooming would go over with this. And we're starting with the least picked of the starters, Bulbasaur.
The least picked, you say? Bulbasaur is adorable. It's this tiny, round, chubby Pokemon that can do photosynthesis.
I mean, I'm not saying it not picked at all. It's just that compared to the other two, it gets picked the least.
It still sounds like you saying nobody barely picks it at all just because of it. Anyways. So, the question is about Bulbasaur. Can it be groomed? That is our main question. It is an unsure question, given we don't know what type of texture Bulbasaur can be, and we don't even know what can fully classify as what kind of animal would it represent in real life. All we know is just some grass-type Pokemon who has a big round chubby head and a big flower bud on the back of his body.
Well, this is actually where Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee kind of helps, because they actually do hop like a little frog. And if you wanted my own opinion, I think grass types would have to treat like, well, actual plants no matter what.
There's no doubt about it that Bulbasaur would definitely probably get washed. But the question is, would it get shampooed too? Or would skin get irritation or sensitive about it?
I think we can safely say for, like, Bulbasaur, we can probably treat it similar to amphibians, because they are very, like, frog-like.
Amphibians.
Yeah.
Honestly, I agree with that too. Although we cannot exactly tell the texture, the visual appearance and just the overall maneuverability when out of combat in any of that scenario is particularly close to, well, as was said here moments ago, a frog. So we have to assume the care has to go somewhere along with that.
Well, if we go based by a frog, then technically frogs don't really need hygiene maintenance. If you consider the real life type friends of frogs you had. Sure, there's some frogs that live in the jungle where they need to have constant moisture, mist, water access. But there's also your bullfrogs where they don't go in the water and they remain on land. And they just have this nice skin protected coat that's designed for any type of environment. If we go by bullfrogs, Bulbasaur probably falls more in that category since you don't see it get bathed. Then again, it's also a type of plant, so it probably has to go into a hydration somewhere.
Well, amphibians are notable for breathing through their skins, and if you actually have to use distilled or spring water for them, because using tap water, that's actually toxic to them. So my guess is it'd be something similar to that. But at the same time, again, with the grass type thing, it probably would be like watering a plant, but you have to use stuff like that
But if we also go based off of turtles and tortoises, they also get bath too. But they don't. They actually get hydrated by baths as well. In fact, I have a crested gecko named Diesel that he relies on not tap water. He has to have actual filtration water that we drink normally, and he also have to get his tank miss a good period of time in order for it to have the water aspects, because he drinks for the leaf, and also moisture. It also helps him shed his skin, which we can also question: does Bulbasaur even shed his skin?
I think my guess would be like the leaves on the back of the bulb, probably.
Either
Kind of like
way,
how trees kind of lose their leaves during the wintertime. My guess is it'd be something like that.
Yeah, kind of like those
Um,
weird like plant things where I recall that certain trees you do have to cut off like certain branches in order for it to not die.
I don't think it would go that far, to be honest, considering Bulbasaur is in betweener. He's 50-50 in plant and amphibian if we classify him as that. So in other words, there's probably some genetic that helps Bulbasaur to able to shed without our assistance. But with the right environment and my apology, with the right environment and also the right care and products that you use. There is no doubt about it that Bulbasaur will have some maintenance that needs some little extra assistance, but I think they can also look after themselves.
my big question in that regard is if he would even shed, then how would that affect even his potential for evolution? Because I remember there was this one episode where, for Bulbasaurs having to do their evolution thing, they have to pretty much just open the bulb in the back. So, with that in mind, uh, wouldn't that kind of put his own ability to evolve in jeopardy?
Maybe, probably not.
That's why I kind of brought up like the trade thing, because there are certain plants where you do have to perform maintenance, like remove like the weeds or the dying parts of the tree in order for the rest of it to actually maintain healthy. Like,
Well,
yes, a wild Bulbasaur would probably be able to do that on their own, but I think it would be a situation of you're doing it to max out their health or something, like get them that extra oomph in health.
Well, if we consider them evolving into their next two other stage forms, then that may be applied afterwards, what you're saying there, Fire. But in this case scenario, I don't think Bulbasaur in his in his beginner stage needs that kind of maintenance. Not
Hmm.
yet, at least. But either way, the question is still stands, and many people will have their opinions how Bulbasaur will be taking care of their hygiene, grooming, maintenance, and what would they do in real life, in the wildlife of how would they consider grooming? But either way, as much as I'd love to continue talking about Bulbasaur, we should move on to some other Pokemons that are probably waiting and eager for us to talk about.
Yeah, since we basically talked about the evolution lines, let's go with the next one, the most picked one, and probably the most popular of them all. Even though I'd argue Squirtle's better, Charmander.
Yeah, we can probably lump Squirtle and Charmander in a similar position, but probably take some
I
extra.
doubt that. I think they're both kind of different by, well, not just their typing. So I'd say let's go with Charmander now.
Yeah,
I
but
say,
they're both reptilian. That's why I'm mentioning
It-
keep them together.
Yeah, and I can imagine this one would be tricky because of because not only the fire type, but also the little flame on his tail,
Yeah.
where if the weaker he is, the less it burns, as it says literally right there.
I may
So
able to step in. Given that they're probably classified two reptilians, we can classify them two different species of reptilian that are just similar to the family. We consider Charmander not be a water type reptilian, but other than dry land reptilians, while Squirrel is a reptilian, or you can classify it since he's literally a type of turtle that in real life can be classified as another type of species name, are meant to be in the water and on land. So, in other words, I will see Charmeleon as a lizard that are meant for dry lands and harsh scorching deserts.
Yeah, and I can imagine washing them is a bit of a pain because, like, I could see regular water being a bit painful. So maybe, like, kind of like how you have to have specialized wipes for cleaning off your electronics. Maybe there might be something for like the fire types,
Well,
perhaps. Would you say?
interesting enough, will consider this where even some of the other Pokemons who have fluffy fur, there's a Pokemon based off a chinchilla, actually. And I will apply this theory as well for Charmeleon. I'm not Charmeleon, Charmander. Because they don't use water, they use dust. So, in my assuming, Charmander would have used dust to clean off his coat, or his skin, or scales.
Which is kind of ironic considering fire types are weak to ground.
Well, you're not looking for the hard, stiff ground. You're looking for the more softer type sand ground. Because chinchillas actually, instead of having actually physical water, they actually have sand baths. Which I used to have 2 chinchillas back when I was young. And these guys go crazy when you put fresh powder sand, like the special powder sand they need for their baths. And they just fling that stuff all over the place like it was nothing. That's how excited they are. And that's what I would think that Charmander would done the same.
Yeah, I can kind of see with Charmander or Charmeleon, though with Charizard having the ability to fly and having the wings, I think that there's a little something different, maybe.
I mean, as an alternative, I mean, if we consider in real life that there's a thing which is like a water allergy, which is incredibly rare, also known as aquagenic urticaria. People who have that usually just have special wipes to help clean. I would imagine in Charizard's specific example, considering he flies, take advantage of that.
Yeah, using like the air, perhaps. Just with the high speeds.
I'm sure at that stage they can handle quite a bit of water, and it's not going to affect them that much.
Yeah, just don't throw a rock at it.
Of course.
Because time's 4 week.
Yeah.
Not just that, you also will get an angry Charizard, and you'll deal with its hot, scorching flames on you. So I can imagine Fire running away for doing something that foolish.
Yeah, I can see Fire doing that.
Charizard, I choose you! Grab rock instead of Pokeball. Crap!
Yep, that's it. Anyways,
put the rock in the bucket.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to Squirtle.
I said before for Squirrel, it's the same possible theory like an actual turtle or a tortoise, that some turtles actually get soaked. Tortoises actually get soaked as well, but not as a lot of water. So in this case scenario, I can see turtle being one of those kind of things, having the rejuvenating water soaking into their skin, their shell, and they scrub their shell, making it nice and clean and not clutter, like the sea turtles where they have to deal with a bunch of barnacles on them. You know, they make them nice and spicy. And they make sure they also have a healthy diet to keep up with their nice hard skin and their shell.
Yeah, and I imagine you'd have to polish the shell a little bit here and there.
Well, there could be ways to do that as well, or maybe some of them don't need to be polished. That is depending how well their shells are.
Yeah. I guess that kind of covers that. Now we got probably ones where we have to cover the evolution line, starting with the Caterpie line.
I'm actually kind of curious on how would you handle like some of the insects, though.
Yeah, and keep in mind they're about the size of a plate, not so much the size of an actual bug.
Canopies and any of the bug types, I don't imagine them actually having any grooming categories other than they might have to have a specific healthy diet on their side. Because bugs don't like water in general. This is a real life fact. Because and given that their size, they float away. And I'm pretty sure that can be the same thing for any bug type Pokemon that are not in their final fall force evolution. In other words, as much as we want to talk about grooming, I don't see any bug type's behavior. Any type of bug can get groomed.
If I may offer something here, when I was younger, I actually took care of a whole nest of larvae that later on became butterflies. In this particular instance, what you need to do is to make sure that their habitat is completely isolated from a lot of heat. You need to make sure that humidity is proper. You need to make sure they have all the necessary nutrients, that they can take care of themselves. You need to occasionally just clean the area where they're going to be in.
Speaking of
to
which, I'll be right back.
Very well. And essentially, all you need to do is to make sure that they are as comfortable as possible. They can handle a lot of the stuff themselves, but you do need to keep an eye out for anything that could interfere with a healthy growth, and make sure that they have enough food and the area is just clean enough to not interfere or cause any potential issues. Uh, as for example, the mainline if evolution, just make sure that they're not exposed to anything that could be particularly harmful, and just essentially this is a minimal care situation.
Very interesting concept. Either way, back to I was saying, I don't see much bug Pokemon able to get groomed. They might, maybe there's some that needs to get misted sometimes or get water from a leaf, but other than that, I just don't see it right now. But in the near future, if there is a bug Pokemon that has to have grooming done, then I would love to know. But
Yes,
either
I'm
way,
back.
I
Sorry
think
about that.
totally fine. Either way, we should move on to the next category of a Pokemon.
The burbs. So we start with the one that gave the regional bird the bad stereotype, Pidgey.
I don't think Pidgey's a bad stereotype. I like Pidgey.
I want
Pidgey's
to pet
cute.
it.
If we base this off in real life time with birds in our reality, they probably will have the same method where they get a bird bath and they just wash their feathers like that. Sure, you might have a few Pokemon bird types that might need help, pluck some of those loose feathers when they start molting, but they usually are more on the hygiene of looking after themselves rather than having some and maybe small hand assistance.
Yeah, there's I know there's like one thing to definitely look out for. There's something called like breaking a blood feather where they actually where it's like a feather snaps that causes them to bleed a lot. And I imagine like that's an emergency scenario. Have to get that out, patch it up.
Wait,
Probably yes, but probably want to learn how to do it properly by professionals who knew how to do it many times over, rather than letting an amateur touch it.
I thought
Yeah,
like with certain birds you have to use like a toothbrush to clean their feathers.
Maybe, but I honestly never seen a real life bird wanting a toothbrush for their feathers to be brushed. I can imagine a turtle, but not for an actual bird. These guys usually just are very independent, looking after themselves, and again with a healthy diet.
it also depends on the bird in question, and most of them are not exactly thrilled by it. Used to have some birds when I was like in intermediate school, so yeah.
I had birds when I was growing up too.
Yeah, and also
I love them.
Yeah, Pidgey's basically a pigeon, so we could assume that it may even still be kind of dirty, like a feathered rat, like they kind of get the
Yeah.
reputation for.
Have you ever seen Pidgey in Pokemon ever acted like an actual pigeon in real life? And even with the real life pigeons, they are actually adorable. You'll love their mixed colors and their mismatches patterns. You don't see birds with just multiple different patterns all the time.
And they will
Well,
try
it's
to
also
Oh, sorry.
well, it's also like pigeons are kind of what people think when it comes to the birds that can carry diseases as well. That's kind of why they got the feathered rat reputation.
Well, if you ever watch a Disney show of Detective Spot, I forgot the title, and I watched this a week ago too. He actually he drank the tech accidentally from a crazy smart kid, and he turned into a pigeon, and he realized it's not so bad being a pigeon after all.
Yeah, and also I would like to add like if pigeons if properly socialized, they will try to cuddle you.
Oh, definitely. Birds, after all.
They either cuddle, peck the crap out of you, or run.
Well, depending how well you look after them. Anyways, moving on to the next one, given that I'm going to have to go in 5 minutes.
Alright, yeah, let's go with the Rattata.
Yeah.
When it comes to the
Rattata,
chinchilla thing, this is probably what you were talking about.
well, no, there's actual Pokemon that looks like it. There's Tanchito, there's other Pokemon that actually look like a base of a chinchilla. But Rattata is representing actually real life rats. But these guys are adorable either way with their purple coat. There is no doubt in mind that Rattata has like the smooth, double coated type of dog kind of texture coated. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure they're able to maintain and look after themselves. But if you have a Rattata, then I'm pretty sure they might need help with a once in a while bath and a good D-shed. Just to
Yeah,
help the brush.
I'd imagine it's like looking after rats in general.
Oh, yeah. If you apply the theory, and if anyone here has rats, it probably applied to that same method.
Yeah, just a lot bigger.
Hmm.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
making sure they're particularly healthy.
Yeah, it
At
says
first-
click on load
Scarier,
more
too.
Pokemon. It says, since Kaylee doesn't have too much time, let's click load more Pokemon, because I know there's going to be one everybody's going to be asking about, and let's
Well-
just get him.
Here's the thing: if these viewers like us talking about more about grooming maintenance and Pokemon, just give us a shout out, and you want it again, and I'll come back.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the first one that's going to be asked about a lot. Let's go with Pikachu. Because we also have to consider the electricity it has.
Yeah.
Well, if we ever watch Pikachu always electrocuting Ash, it tends to be his thing. Do we ever see Pikachu getting groomed? I feel like he can groom himself, actually. Like, in some way or form, Pikachu can use his arms to rub his cheeks, his ears. It's like a cat almost kind of reflexes. The best way I can describe it, I could be wrong, but either way, Pikachu getting groomed, and there's no doubt about it, there probably could be once in a while a bath, and probably just brushing out the coat.
I
And
feel
that
I feel like it would
there is
also
a
be
contest
very.
Pikachu's, implying that perhaps there is definitely some outside grooming too.
I feel like it would also be very dangerous to groom Pikachu just because, depending on the temperament of the Pikachu, you may get electrocuted.
Well, that's
Yeah,
where you have to consider that Pikachu's being well raised. Like a wild Pikachu might take some time to adjust, but if they're born and raised already by human hands, just like a show dog, they're already used to that life. They're used to it's already desensitized from everything around them.
Yeah, and I imagine if they have the move discharge, it'd be like, no, get them out of here, because the idea of the move discharge would be kind of dangerous.
Well, especially with water too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, of course, the other one I was thinking of, I don't know if it's going to be showing if we have to load more. Yeah, we still got to load more. Might have to do this a few times. Is, well, Growlithe. Right there.
Growlithe. Well, Growlithe, depending if he's from the wild or he was actually raised by people, can have two outcomes. Or even back that you still, even with people, any Pokemon, if you have to groom them, might still have a spicy moment. Something they don't like in particular.
Yeah.
Growlithe is going to be like depending on the coat. That's all too. That is depending on the coat. Probably has a puppy coat in his first evolvement, and then when he evolved into his final one, he probably would be some type in the middle of long hair type of where you can get it de-shed and brush out kind of scenario.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of brushing to go into this guy.
Well, at least he's not like a Great Pyrenees where those guys are big and fluffy.
Well, look at its height, too.
Ironically,
That's a lot of brushing.
Ironically, I feel like it would also be one of the easier Pokemon to groom, just because, yes, it's a fire type, but at the same time, you're just going, oh, you're breathing fire? Okay. No, squirt bottle.
Well, keep in mind, it's also a dark type, their fire.
Yeah.
No, it's not dark type. That's Houndoom you're thinking of.
I thought they have dark type abilities.
Oh, no. They had. It's not listed on here, but Garcanine gets the ability Justified, so it gets an attack boost whenever it gets hit by a dark type move. But that's kind of beside
Okay, I'm
everything.
sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong type of Pokemon here. I'm thinking. My bad. I
Yeah,
didn't realize. I was thinking the wrong Pokemon here. It happens.
there's another one from Gen 2 that is Dark and Fire. Do we
These
have time
guys.
for one more?
Yes, we'll have time for one more.
Alright.
Okay, so I guess we might be able to scroll up, because let's go with another popular one. We'll have to scroll upwards, though. Being Meowth. That's right.
I'm not much of a cat groomer. There is cat groomers out there. I gave it a try. I don't mind doing it when there's somebody else is doing it mostly, and I'm just the assistant.
Well, yeah,
So-
but people are going to be asking about this one because of Team Rocket's Meowth.
Yeah,
I'm
and
pretty
isn't Meows are a little bit more intelligent as well?
Well, most don't actually speak. I mean, Team Rocket's Meowth, he had to go through a long process to be able to actually do that. Most can't actually do that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
There's also the fact that this one likes hoarding coins and just holds it. So I can imagine there's going to be there's going to be a lot of lost street coins while you're trying to brush this thing. I wonder how that would turn out.
I wonder how you will bath without getting scratched, because if I remember Meow, whenever he goes in the water, he freaks out.
Well, that's any cat, ain't it?
It's
That
all
cat-
about.
Actually,
so-
sorry,
Go
you
ahead.
go. No,
Go ahead.
You.
All right. As someone who actually owns a cat, it really boils down to personality. Some cats are particularly aggressive, others are very gentle, and on a rare occasion, some actually like the water. So assuming that Meowths, being like cats, are very similar to this, the issue would be more with the type of personality of the cat you're dealing with. So the more prone to aggression they may be with what they don't like, the more you'd have to take extra precautions or even have someone else in the room to just hold down their paws so they don't start scratching everything. And on occasion, maybe even have instead of putting them in a tub, you put them in a small container with water, and you go with a sponge to just brush them gently.
I
So
think they'll still freak out because there's still in water there. But either way, he is not wrong. There is some cats, depending on their personality. Some will tolerate it, some will deal with it. There are some who will have their spicy moments, and then there's some who will love it. And when I tell you, back in my other job when I was working as a dog groomer, we have this cat. He was adorable. He hides in his blankets. He get the lion's shave, and he's just chill for the whole process. And he just lies in your arms and just like he's one of my favorite cats, honestly. Like
Making us
whenever I
jealous over
see
here.
him, and then as soon as you put him back when everything's done, he just goes into his blanket again and just hides like he doesn't exist, and just like I wish I had a cat like him.
Making us jealous over here. Anyways. Yeah, no, this was a short one, y'all, but it's just due to time constraints. So we can consider
Yes,
this a prelude to the main thing.
Well, if you guys like this and you want to hear more about possibility of Pokemon getting groomed and hearing from me, just give a shout out to Fire Warrior, and we will come back again.
Oh, hey, love! Have you brought the soap for the puppy? He is a very dirty boy.
Yes. Into out-of-worn dog shampoo.